This NBA player got caught using a strange product to stick his hand to the ball, and this team was caught playing with 6 players on the court. These are moments when NBA stars get caught cheating. And let's start with this scene that became a worldwide meme. Imagine you're watching a tense 2014 playoff game, Pacers versus Heat, and out of nowhere, Lance Stephenson does this.
For the Indiana Pacers, including this, flowing in the ear, James' reaction. You can't believe it. And I know you guys,
But what you're about to see now is much worse. In 2018, during a heated game between the Lakers and Rockets, Rajon Rondo and Chris Paul got into a controversial incident. During an argument on the court, Paul started staring down Rondo. What he didn't expect was for the Lakers guard to spit in his face.
Oh, he puts his finger right in his face, and that's what led to the first punch.
Right.
The incident became a symbol of disrespect and for years was remembered as one of the most unsportsmanlike acts in NBA history. Now, it's time to talk about the 1998 Eastern Conference Finals. Reggie Miller was looking for a game-winning shot against the Bulls. With just seconds left, he pushed Michael Jordan with both hands, created space, and sank the game winner.
Now watch him, he's going to come off one screen, gives Michael a bump, and he lets it go. What a killer shot by Reggie Miller.
The push was obvious, but the referees let it slide. It was one of the clearest and most effective dirty plays in a decisive moment in NBA history. But get ready, because our next guy pulled something almost no one would dare to try. In a game between the Bucks and the Cavaliers, Rashad Vaughn stood completely still in the corner, pretending to be a substitute sitting on the bench. When the play started and the defense ignored him completely, this happened.
Jason Terry. And meanwhile, the Cavaliers give up 2. Wow.
Chris Paul, throughout his career, was accused multiple times of hitting opponents with cheap shots. In college, he punched Julius Hodge in the groin. In the NBA, there were suspicious plays with several other players. The cameras caught the moments, and even though he was never punished directly, he earned the reputation of being a dirty player.
Hey man, get your dick grabbing ass out of here, man. If I try to talk to you, dick grabber.
In 2016, during the playoffs between the Warriors and the Thunder, Draymond Green jumped for a play and hit Steven Adams with a kick to the groin.
Green putting a move on Adams. And he is fouled. And down goes Adams once again.
Even though the move looked way too odd to be accidental, the NBA didn't suspend Green for that game, but his record just kept piling up. And days later, he would be suspended in the finals against the Cavaliers for another dirty play.
He takes a little swing that misses after he objected to James stepping over him. The conversation continues, the bumping and shoving, and there's the double foul call by Danny Crawford.
Another very memorable moment happened in the 2008 finals when Paul Pierce fell to the floor in pain.
Bryant knocks it down. Beautiful move, and he's got 16. And down on the floor for the Lakers is Paul Pierce.
He had to be put in a wheelchair and taken to the locker room in a dramatic scene that worried everyone. But minutes later, he returned to the court and helped his team come back and win the game.
Durable player throughout his career, with the exception of last season during that first year.
For years, fans speculated until he finally confessed. The problem was intestinal. The guy just needed to use the bathroom. During a close game between the Brooklyn Nets and Los Angeles Lakers, coach Jason Kidd pulled off one of the most creative cheats ever seen in NBA. With no timeouts left, he intentionally bumped into one of his players while holding a cup of soda. The drink spilled on the court and the game had to be stopped for cleanup. That gave Kidd time to draw up the next play with his team. He was fined by the NBA, but the moment went down in history as one of the craftiest tricks in basketball. In the Western Conference Finals between the Spurs and Warriors, Zaza Pachulia contested a Kawhi Leonard shot and, while landing, put his foot under Leonard. Kawhi went down with a twisted ankle and never returned to that series.
And he's in pain again in front of the Spurs bench. Will Sevening, the longtime athletic trainer for the Spurs, checking on him. The crowd reacting to the replay of that call on the big screen.
Even though Zaza claimed it was accidental, many analysts saw intention. The incident was so serious that the NBA reviewed its landing space rules after that episode. During a 2018 regular season game between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Sacramento Kings, a bizarre play caught everyone's attention. Veteran Taj Gibson lost his shoe in the middle of a play, but instead of leaving the court, he just kept running while holding it in his hand. The most surprising part was what came next. When an opponent went up for a shot, Gibson actually tried to block it while holding his own shoe.
Block a shot with your shoe. He certainly went up with it. Towns is the one that blocked it, but Taj, you can't block a shot with your shoe.
Even though the block didn't work, the move was so unusual that it went viral. Now, let's talk about Shaquille O'Neal, who in 1999 dunked on Chris Dudley, shoved him to the floor, and walked away like nothing happened. Dudley got up and angrily threw the ball at Shaq's back, humiliated by the play.
Dudley does not even foul, and he just got overpowered by Shaquille O'Neal.
But Dudley is now joined with Shaq and threw the ball in his direction. Man.
According to experts, Shaq's shove should have been called an offensive foul, but the referees ignored it. And now let's talk about J.R. Smith, who in 2014 pulled one of the strangest tricks in NBA history. During a free throw, while Greg Monroe was standing next to him for the rebound, J.R. discreetly bent down and tried to untie his opponent's shoelaces. Yeah, you heard that right. He tried to untie Monroe's shoes in the middle of the game, but Monroe noticed and pulled his foot away before the trick was done. What makes it even crazier is that just days earlier, JR had tried the same thing with Shawn Marion, and that time he actually succeeded. The NBA, of course, didn't find it funny and fined JR $50,000 for unsportsmanlike conduct. Now, let's talk about one of the most unbelievable blunders in NBA history. In 2020, during a game between the Sixers and Bulls, Furkan Korkmaz nailed a beautiful three-pointer. The play looked perfect until something strange caught the referee's attention. Philadelphia had 6 players on the court. That's right.
Yeah, there's 6 on the floor. Yeah, 6 on 5. Game's a little easier in that respect.
Well, what I want to know is, when did the 6th guy come in? Did we all miss it? Were there 6 guys for the last minute and we just figured it out? Back in a moment.
Because of a substitution error, the team accidentally put an extra man in without realizing it. The play was reviewed, the 3 points were taken away, and the Sixers were even hit with a technical foul. In the 2011 Eastern Conference semifinals between the Celtics and Heat, one play involving Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo stood out. During a scramble for the ball, Wade fell on top of Rondo and yanked his opponent's arm in a weird way.
It was almost like he was trying to box him out. Rondo shaking up on the play. Wade was trying to hold off Rondo from going after the other ball.
The result was immediate. Rondo's elbow popped out of place, and he was out for the rest of the game. Even though the play looked accidental, the footage clearly showed Wade pulling. The refs ignored it, but the fans, commentators, and even fellow players saw it as a dirty move. At the peak of his Houston Rockets days, James Harden developed a style of play that took the art of drawing fouls to another level. On offense, he would initiate contact with the defender, hook their arms, or stop abruptly, forcing the opponent to trip over his body, leaving the refs no choice but to blow the whistle. These plays gave him valuable free throws and plenty of wins, but also sparked criticism from players, coaches, and fans. Many considered it cheating, a way of gaming the system. The situation got so extreme that in 2021, the NBA updated its rules to crack down on offensive players who unnaturally create contact. Now, let's move on to a 1000 IQ play. In 2019, during a game between the Thunder and Timberwolves, the score was tight in the final seconds. Chris Paul noticed something nobody else did. Jordan Bell from the Wolves had his jersey untucked, which is against the rules. CP3 quietly alerted the referee, and the officials called a technical foul.
And Ryan Saunders, you see, head coach there for the T-Wolves, looking for the explanation from Scott Foster. Wow.
The Thunder sank the free throw, tied the game, and sent it to overtime. Yes, it was legal, but it was also a masterfully calculated trick. Now, let's talk about one of the strangest cases to ever happen in the NBA. In 2016, during a game between the Rockets and Hawks, Paul Millsap went to the free throw line and noticed something odd. The ball was sticky, like it had glue on it. Minutes later, the truth came out. The refs confiscated the ball and picked up a spray bottle left near the scorer's table.
Is illegal, and the ball has stickum on it. And so they're going to have to exchange the ball, and the officials have warned both teams that stickum is illegal, do not use it.
It turned out the spray was stickum, a banned substance that makes hands stickier, and it belonged to Dwight Howard. The NBA investigated, but only gave a verbal warning. Howard, without hesitation, admitted he'd been using the product for years, and that for him, it wasn't a big deal. Now, let's talk about interference that came from outside the court. During the 2022-2023 play-in tournament, the Chicago Bulls faced the Toronto Raptors. In the stands was DeMar DeRozan, daughter of DeMar DeRozan, who decided to help her dad in an unusual way. At every Raptors free throw, she screamed at the exact moment of the shot.
They said very much still the way he hangs in the air.
Check out if you're Chicago here.
Hey, she went 1 for 2, like the Raptors. Loose ball. Levine comes out of the pack with it.
Check out.
Oh, wow. Line drive, never made it.
Her scream was so loud it was picked up by the broadcast microphones, and the result was insane. Toronto missed 18 free throws, one of the worst marks of the season. In the end, the Bulls won by just 4 points. DeMar DeRozan must have been proud of his daughter. During the 2018 playoffs, in a game between the Warriors and Pelicans, Draymond Green pulled off another bizarre stunt. After a Pelicans timeout, while the team was gathering in their huddle, Draymond just walked in as if he was part of the group and stood there listening. The New Orleans players were visibly annoyed, but he didn't care one bit. But Draymond wasn't the only one. Rajon Rondo, known for his high basketball IQ, was also caught sneaking into an opponent's huddle.
Trying to find out what's going on in their huddle, pushed away by James.
You know, but that's not funny to me. That's not funny.
And of course, Lance Stevenson couldn't be left out. In the 2014 Eastern Conference Finals against the Heat, he shamelessly walked right into Miami's huddle during a timeout.
Integrity of our coaches as we see Lance Stevenson going over into the huddle. Now, I'm going to say this. This happens a lot in the NBA. And if I'm the other team and he comes into my huddle...
Now, let's talk about one of the most controversial strategies in NBA history, the hack. In the 90s and 2000s, coaches began exploiting a weakness of certain big men, poor free throw shooting. The pioneer was Don Nelson, who started fouling Dennis Rodman on purpose, creating Hack-a-Rodman.
Coming up in a minute left, 28-21, Bulls with the lead. Michael for three, no, hold on. Official stopped play
again.
But the tactic really took off when the target became Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq was dominant in the paint, but terrible at the free throw line. The answer from opponents? Foul him constantly, even off the ball, even when the game was stopped. The result? Shaq went to the line 20, sometimes 25 times a game, and matches became slow and dragged out.
Back in San Antonio, game 1 of this opening round playoff series, and Greg Popovich has decided to go with the Hack-a-Shaq theory. Here in the fourth quarter, his team down by as many as 9 in this period, now right back into the game. Tony does the right thing. Take Shaquille O'Neal out, buy some time, run offense. It's a three-point ball game. You can't afford to allow him to go to the line.
The tactic was legal, but clearly against the spirit of the game. One memorable example was when San Antonio Spurs coach Greg Popovich took it to the extreme. In a game against the Suns, he ordered his team to foul Shaq just 5 seconds into the game.
To sustain it when adversity sets in.
And Jeff, for San Antonio, once again, people are saying, as they immediately have a Hack-a-Shaq call, I don't believe it. 5 seconds in.
The play was so unusual that Pop even gave the refs a thumbs up. To curb this, the NBA changed the rule in 2016. In the final 2 minutes, intentional off-ball fouls give a free throw and possession. But it didn't matter much. Hack-a-Shaq was already a legend and went down as one of the dirtiest yet most effective tactics in league history.